Alright fellas, let's start this episode with a question. If you had to pick, which would you rather choose, archers or skirmishers? Well, in this miniseries, we'll try and sort this age-old question out. Alright, let's do this shit. Let's see if we can't round up some of these troops here. Welcome back again to the episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Banner Lord related and especially advanced field command and battlefield tactics. And we are going to have a siege today. In fact, we're going to have 2 sieges today. And this remains part of our Archer and Javelin series. This is essentially an experiment to see which is better off. An army that has more archers or an army that has more javelin throwers, more skirmishers. So we're going to besiege this city of Amitatis here. And I have a mixed army. My main army is a mix of good-looking troops, some companions. Now, in this first run, all of the companions have javelins. You can see Zuvan here with his 3 stacks. And all of our companions, including those who normally use a bow, also have javelins. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this main army, right, full of good-looking troops. You can see we're doing some upgrades here. And I will try to do all the same steps in both showings of this siege. We are going to take all of these units, disband one of these companions that has all archers, and then go into battle with this army, right? She has all skirmishers from low-level Lake Rat recruits that we've picked up as prisoners, all the way up to Aserai Vanguard, Ferris, and Wildlings, right? So we will go into battle this first of these 2 sieges and try to assault Amitatis and take this city with skirmishers, in other words with the skirmisher and infantry heavy army, and then we will reload this battle. We will save scum, right, this naughty save scumming, and then we will try with this battle with all these archers, right? You can, let me change the tiers so you can see the quality. 53 Battanian Fiend Champs and a bunch of other mediocre and light archers. So the idea and the concept, if the first episode you've seen of this series, again, is to sort of settle the argument, which is better in your army, having more infantry and or skirmishers, or having more archers. So far this series, this is episode number 4. At this stage, I will tell you that the skirmishers have won 2 of the first 3 fairly convincingly. So we go into this 4th episode here, and we're going to do a siege defense as well with these 2 different types of armies, and we're not, discovering anything empirically. The end result here is not going to be to say, dump all your archers. Skirmishers are superior. It's more to prove the value of skirmishers and also to show you scenarios and tactics of using these archers and skirmishers here. You can see this is a very difficult siege assault here. It's 600 against 1250 something, and they have lots of elite troops, 63 legionnaires, and a bunch of other tier 5 units. So as usual, siege assaults for this channel. I like to build a couple trebuchets and or a fire catapult or something like that, and that way what we can do is effectively, I think the archer actually, she's getting attacked out there. That doesn't really matter because we're just going to reload the save game. I just realized she actually died in battle. How funny is that? Her army got captured. What we're effectively trying to do here is destroy the enemy's fire catapults. That way when we build our own siege tower, it stands a decent chance of arriving at the city. If you're not familiar with that concept, the enemy has all this counter siege, fire catapults and whatnot, and we want to build our own catapults, or in this case we're building trebuchets because that is the best siege weapon for destroying enemy catapults, right? Basically they kill them in one shot, and what we're going to try to do is start this siege as soon as our siege tower is built. And I will try to replicate this for the second showing. Again, we're going to have 2 identical sieges here. Hopefully that doesn't bore you, because the battles and the sieges are going to feel very different tactics in these two battles. I don't know the result of these. Of course, I narrate these live, and I'm not rooting for one side or the other. I'm probably a little bit better overall at using archers, but I'm becoming much more adept at using skirmishers too. So they have one. The idea here is we're trying to destroy that fire. There, perfect. So pause it. So they have 2 regular catapults, but no fire catapults. And that gives our siege tower a decent chance of arriving at the enemy walls. If you're not familiar with that part, the fire catapults do the most damage, especially if it's a direct hit to your siege towers. So if you want your siege towers to arrive, you obviously want to destroy the enemy fire catapults. All right, so we're going to do this here. Incidentally, I have a whole episode. Actually, it's 3 episodes that cover siege in great details, and it covers stuff like that. How to get your fire catapults, how to build trebuchets, how to aim trebuchets, etc. How to destroy enemy siege, right? These are all essentials of siege, and we cover that in those episodes. Here, I'll talk about it a little bit, but let's talk strategy right now, right? We have 3 different accesses, of course, into the city. We've got to change some captains here, and I'm going to do some of this without telling you each step. But what we're going to do here is effectively blitz 2 of the 3 options. We may even go through the front door. It'll basically depend on where the enemy defends and where they don't defend as well. What I generally try to do in city or castle assault is to apply a lot of pressure at least one location first and see what the enemy does, right? If they rush a bunch of defenders there, I will sometimes go somewhere else, right? We will basically avoid the main mass of their defenses and try to blitz the city somehow. You can think of it almost like a soccer match or a football match. I guess I shouldn't say soccer since there's a lot of European watchers on here. I apologize. A football match, and the sports, they are applicable. It's the same strategy, and that is to find the weakness to the enemy defense and get the ball in that direction, right? So what we're going to do here is send the 1st and the 4th archers on the left, and the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th, I think we'll do on the right. And the idea being is if we can get the enemy to put a bunch of defenders at the siege tower, then the siege ladders will be more open. And of course, if they defend both of these, we will try the front gate. Basically, we're going to adapt to whatever the enemy does, right? We're effectively going to try a little deception at the beginning and sort of make it look like our main assault is coming at the siege tower, and then we will essentially make our next move depending on what the enemy does. Now we're going to hold fire with some of these units, but most of the skirmishers at the beginning, I want them to be throwing their javelins, killing the guys on the walls, right? Killing the defenders. I am going to tuck, let's do the 6th. Let's tuck one of these divisions against the wall so it doesn't get blown up by counter siege, just like that. And we're going to have them hold fire, right? I'd like to have at least one javelin unit in a situation like this in reserve, so that once we get to the real heavy blows inside the city, you still have some javelins left in your armament. All right, so over here, this is going to be the 1st. I'm trying to remember these divisions, the 1st and the 4th. And we're going to present a major threat over here, like, hey, we're coming over here. We're going to be aggressively attacking you over here, and we'll see what the enemy does. So 58 guys in the 1st division, they get told to spread out in front of the siege tower here. The defenders probably won't come until the siege tower is getting close, but at that stage, these guys can open fire, and obviously they're going to do a lot of damage. I will join those guys as well. Again, on this right side, we've got 4 divisions, and I actually want 1 more division, right? What we're actually going to do with this division is tell them to charge, right? So I split, I can't remember which division I did, but now we have a 7th division, and I'm going to tell these guys to charge and help me with these ladders. What that'll do is that'll immediately apply pressure to this side as well. What we're effectively trying to do here, of course, is pressure the enemy in enough spots that the defenses start to buckle. Then, once we identify... there's a fucking asshole outside the city absorbing javelins. It looks like they killed him, but they probably threw 100 javelins at him. Once the enemy is sort of stressed and strained, we will identify if there is a weakness. They're not always a weakness when you're this badly outnumbered. I mean, look at the power bar, right? We're not supposed to win this battle. But once you have a weakness, then you access it recklessly, right? You basically, once you have a foothold you go crazy on it, trying to essentially extend your advantage. Now this siege tower is close enough. The enemy should have attackers, defenders on the wall. You can call them attackers if you want, but they should have troops up there soon. And the ram looks like it's going to make it as well. So all three of our accesses here may get to come to fruit here, right? They may ripen. It's just a question of can we apply enough pressure now at these different locations to force our way in. You see all these skirmishers, right? This is going to feel very different in the second battle. We won't have to manage our ammunition quite as much, but we'll also have a lot more delicate troops going up the walls. Now, if you want my completely frank and honest answer, the best army is still to have a hybrid, a mix of archers and skirmishers. So this, these episodes, they're more of a science experiment than actual practicality. And speaking of actual practicality, even though these knucklehead fucking artificial imbecility skirmishers were told to charge, and there's a siege tower right here, they're running who knows where, somewhere else, somewhere I don't want them to go. So I'm going to have to manually drag these fucking mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging fucking skirmishers and point in the direction for them to go. Ugh, you guys come up here. Let's hope I don't get killed trying to babysit these incompetent fucks. I'm getting smacked in the face. I get my revenge on that legionnaire though, and I love that sound. It just sounds like it hurts, doesn't it? Just catches the javelin and he's I mean, that shit sounds like it hurts. The sound effects for the death in this game is just, it's a 10 out of 10. It's fucking great. Alright, I'm still trying to get these dipshits to commit to this siege tower. I'm all alone up here as usual. The Jarl's got to do it all. No surprise there, right? This is just artificial imbecility. Luckily, most of these guys aren't eating their vegetables, right? These guys here, this is, okay, medieval diets. These guys are finally, these fucking dipshits are finally starting to come up this siege tower. I'm trying to get off now because now that these guys are committed, I actually want to help my troops at the other... I'm being shoved up by this guy, so I'm going to intentionally fall off here. I do have that perk that reduces fall damage, so I won't be killed. But that's what I had to do there. That's an unfortunate part of Siege. Sometimes the AI does dipshit things. Alright, so the archers, these guys can be sent in as well. I'm trying to run down my horse here because we're going to try to get to the other location. Now that we have pressure being applied to the left, and what I mean by the left is our left of the city, the defender's right, you can see there's pretty good death spam too as those elite infantry shove their way. We are now going to get over here to this right side and see what kind of pressure we can put over here. Actually, these guys got a decent hole already, but it looks like they're bottled up. So, when I ran by the gate, I used my little laser view, right? You hold down Alt and you can see how many sort of defenders are where, and there's much less defenders here at the gate than I would anticipate normally, and that's probably because we're applying so much pressure to the wings, right? The center is ready to buckle. So, speaking of buckling, we're going to buckle this gate, this wooden gate. I'm doing it all myself, of course. These lazy fucking mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging, I apologize if you breathe through your mouth. You know, this is just a term, a little colloquial term. We're going to force our way through this gate here. Let's bring these guys. Oh, shit. Never mind. We're going to back off here. We're going to kite these stupid defenders that want to fight outside. We're very eager to fight them outside, so come get it. We got skirmishers. These guys can come charge our skirmishers here and all get annihilated. And if they don't charge us, then we will charge. Okay, it looks like they're already thinking their dumbass decision. At least they have some ability to change their mind. Now, I have the 6th Corps with me again, and they're basically going to be full ammo for this next assault. We're going through this gate. There's not very many defenders here. I'm going to try to jump over. First, I'm going to crash into the wall. I'm going to try to jump over these defenders and get into this citadel. Why? Because I want to tell these troops exactly where to go, right? Come with me, 3rd, 6th, and 2nd. I'm going to basically push these guys through. Now, critical point here, do not have your units attack here. If you tell your units to attack, they'll attack, and they will get stuck in the gatehouse. Tell them to follow you, if you're on horse especially. You know, I can just smash these archers while my guys are following me. And what they will do is they will do exactly what they're doing. They will bypass the enemy and allow them to breach the defenders much better than if you tell them to charge, attack, advance, any of the other commands. You tell them to follow you and then tell them to position inside. Once they're in here, now these guys can be told to attack. Now, of course, they're massive loss of life, right? Because they're trying to rush past defenders that are bashing them. It's not going to be an easy way to get in, but it's much better than charging at the gates, right? Now we've got probably 40 to 60 guys right there. We've gained a purchase. The archers are freaking out on the walls up there, I think because they're being assaulted. And now I'm going to bring in more troops here as we consolidate our foothold. Right, we've got a puncture into this city now. We've got a little bit of space here. Now, we can get annihilated, too. The first time you try this and you have no experience, you'll probably get annihilated, right? Because you're not familiar with what to do. You don't have a backup plan. I have backup plans, but I'm not going to be able to describe them right now. Basically, it would be to fall back to the ladder location, do a little bit of kiting, squares, and we would survive. I've done it before. We could do it here. Still, we've got 2 strong shield lines here. The archers are freaked out. We're firing javelins, so all their defenders are holding up their shields, and a lot of our javelins are going right through the shields, right? Because we have this perk that allows them to do so, right? That guy just got smoked. We've got these 2 different divisions, and let's use these guys a little bit more accurately here, right? Right, what we're going to effectively do is have one defensive unit. The other unit is still throwing javelins, and we're going to attack with this other division, right? We're basically, again, we're using one division here as a shield, and the other unit is attacking division. This guy's right here can be brought to the enemy's flank, right? And then these guys can fire javelins right into the back of all this weak militia, and they can cause major damage. Now, I'm still trying to get the second corps. I'm telling them also, follow me, right? Because I want these guys inside the defense here. I want these guys adding to the maelstrom. Now the defenders, fortunately, a lot of the militia are fighting out here on the wings. Obviously, we like that. Now these guys can be told to charge. There's like 10 militia trying to hold them back. Those guys get blitzed. These guys holding the square are about to have help, right? We're going to pour in here on them, and that square, all of the attackers are about to be destroyed. Now I'm still trying to bring the second corps in here. I see him right at the gate. It's a matter of time before those guys arrive as well. They won't come in complete. They're going to suffer losses, but at least we'll have 3 infantry divisions in here and an enemy that's very disconcerted. They're routing. Their archers are either bugged or stuck by our other infantrymen up there. It's a mess, and the enemy's in shambles here, right? Their defenses are torn apart. We have a major fucking puncture, and as we start applying pressure at the gate here, guess what's going to happen, right? The second corps that's at the gate, look at this guy standing on his wagon. Get off your fucking wagon. We're going to be just unloading on this side of the enemy that's now trying to defend the gate, right? So these guys are desperately trying to hold the gate, and we've got troops just pounding them on the flanks, right? I'm just going crazy with my fast hammer, and the enemy really is starting to wither already, right? They have archers all jumbled up here. They're not using their archery lanes very well. No surprise. Nobody expected the AI to be brilliant here. And the death spam has already turned decidedly in our favor. There's 1,000 javelins in this episode, of course, because half of my guys are firing javelins. These archers, I don't know what they're doing other than committing suicide. These guys just run directly at my mace, and I just cut down like 20 guys before they could even get to the ladder well. They might even rout before they get up the. They did. They routed before they can even get up the stairs. Now they're right back into the same maelstrom. Once you get in a city, you can cause mayhem like this, right? And that's exactly what we were trying to do. Once we applied enough pressure to the wings, this castle siege was basically over, or this city siege. I mean, this was a beatdown. We didn't just win here. We blitzed them and fucking totally overran the defenders. I mean, this was savage. As we humbly say, right, this was savage, right? That was here, let me try to be humble. These guys did very well. this was, I'll be that athlete. This has all the cliched bullshit. That was a very nice effort by our team. I couldn't have done that without my teammates here. That was, it was God on our side there. Fortune favored us there. We did just enough, and then fate helped us the rest of the way. No, actually, this was all just tactics. This was premeditated annihilation of this defense force. I have this capacity because I've played this game an insane amount, and we had a savage game plan and executed it. That's what happened, right? Speaking of executing, right, we're going to execute this last handful of defenders here as they run for their lives. And again, it's amazing to think about it because it didn't feel like it really at any stage during this city assault, but we were outnumbered. I think like 2.5 to 1. They had like 1,200 and something 50 troops against our 500, and we just massacred this force. Now we had strong troops, but just like that, the enemy took one right between the eyes, and this city is now ours. This city of Amitatis. Now, incidentally, I find this to be one of the best cities for defense, but obviously the AI the AI and defense, city defense, are not something, once you sort of understand how the AI works, it's fairly exploitable, right? You can put it, actually, this guy looked like he took it right in the mouth. His javelin is just straight impinged through his mouth. He no longer needs dental work. He got 32 root canals all at the same time. So we'll just go here, check to make sure battle is finished. We're gonna do a little run through here, like most generals after the battle that they ordered. They would then come in and shake their head at the terrible death and trauma that they saw, even though they knew this was going to happen. They're like, oh my goodness, this is so terrible. War is so terrible. Charge, right? These same fucking guys do it over and over again. You can't help but wonder if it's like crocodile tears. But anyway, so this city is ours. There's guys missing their head, literally. His shit's blown in the wind. And it is kind of beautiful. Like in real war, this would be horrific, but the graphics and the gore in Bannerlord are just amazing. Now, hopefully we can do all video game war into the future and not actually have any more real war, because real war is hell. I've never been in real war, but I've read 1,000 fucking reports and journal entries from all the people that have been in war, and war is hell. All right, so we got this little last section here. I'm going to start already introducing the next portion of this while my guys rampage through the inner donjon here. In fact, I'm going to sit on the throne here while my minions go to work cutting down the defenders. So the next thing you're going to see is I'm going to reload the save game. That archer companion, her army, she actually got killed in battle. Of course, that's never going to happen. And what I mean by that is we're just going to save scum. I'm going to sit right on this crown. And we'll reload this, fight this same battle with almost all archers, and we'll see if there's a difference, right? We'll acknowledge sort of the death count at the end of this battle, and it's a scoreboard. We're effectively trying to take this castle more effectively than this time. In fact, I will have to actually reference with the video editing later on how many casualties we have, because actually, no, I'll just be able to use our total troops. The total amount of surviving troops will be the scorecard. I would guess we're going to have like 300-ish survivors. And then we will see if we can better that with our archer army. We don't need any prisoners. I'm not going to waste your time here. It says we have 53 wounded. That's pretty darn good, considering we just assaulted a well-defended city of 1,200 something defenders. So we'll just show mercy here. We'll get a final count for you. Gosh darn it. Sorry about this. A little bit of housekeeping here. We'll get a count, and then you will see me do a little bit of editing, and we'll be right back at the beginning. So it's doing an auto-save, but you can see it right there. We have 352 troops, and we will be right back with our all-archer portion of this. All right, so it's taking a little bit longer this second time. We have gotten to the point where we are close to sieging down their fire catapult, and we're almost to go here. They have 2 catapults and a fire ballista. I think this will work. They have 2 catapults still. That can be a problem sometimes. It's preferable that there be only 1 fire catapult, so that you have a clean entry with your siege tower, but we'll give this a shot here. So I'm trying to have all the variables be the same. Inevitably, there are very small, tiny differences between the runs. I've just noticed this by the 4th episode here. I wrote it down here. It said we had about 590 troops the first battle, but we were up against a little larger force. So, take it for what it is. She's got a few less troops. It looks like she had deserters, but she has 300 medicine skill, right? This is not a scientific experiment that the Royal Horticultural Scientific Community would accept, but hopefully for you guys, you understand that I'm doing my best here to illustrate the differences between the two, and hopefully you're being entertained, as well as some of the newer players are being educated on how to dominate at siege assault in Bannerlord. And so I was just checking my recording software there, making sure we were recording. So again, the siege here of Amitatis, and this is going to look similar in some phases and very different in others, right? Again, we're going to try to gain a purchase. That's the most important thing anytime you're assaulting a big city like this. We do have a siege tower. We do have some trebuchets, right? And those will do some damage. Again, I covered that in some of the siege tutorials. If you want to see more details on that, I think there are 3 or 4 volumes, and I go into great depth. We show all kinds of examples. We do the RTS cam for siege here. So we'll get a few captains assigned here. It doesn't matter terribly much, you know, what captains are assigned. If you were in a do or die siege, you would go through and spend like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or something assigning all your captains and making sure you have the right divisions. And I'm going to have a fairly loose strategy here just because I'm trying to make sure these episodes don't take, you know, 2 hours each with me just hemming and hawing over every decision. And strategically, it's going to look very similar. What we're trying to do here is overload the right. We're going to fake left attack here, try to occupy some opponents on this left side with the siege tower. I've got a crossbow division I can send over the walls eventually. We will apply pressure at the gate as well, but our main thrust is going to be to try to gain a purchase on this right side. And very differently than the first battle, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get a lot of troops up onto the walls before we attack. Right, the first attack, oops, sorry, that's the sped up motion with the RTS cam. Oh shit, almost got killed. We slowed it down there. But what we're going to do is much more methodically get troops onto the walls, get troops into the courtyard, right? Because once you have archers 50, 60, 100 in the courtyards, the enemy's in a really bad way, right? You're going to start raining down massive damage on the enemy, and things are going to go badly for the enemy. Now, I'm getting a little bit of juddering. Sometimes in really large sieges, I get sort of this, I don't know what you want to call it, sort of a stalled effect here. Hopefully it doesn't affect what you're seeing too much on your end. We are running, you can actually see the frames per second up in the right corner there. We have a very strong graphics card, and it's ripping, right? A high frame rate to be sure. And we're running at, if we're not running at 4K, we're running at the, what is it, 1440 or something like that. It depends on which monitor I'm using. But we're running in very high resolution, and we typically have 60 to 80, sometimes 100 frames per second. All right, so we've got a couple small infantry divisions here, and I'm going to have these guys start the assault over here, right? You got to start getting guys up those ladders because it does take a while. You know, it's a slow process to get guys up the ladder, but the enemy typically defends the main gate, and they will defend that siege tower more vigorously. Now this it's the 6th division. It's kind of a hybrid division. I'm going to tell those guys to hold fire and tuck up against the walls. That's because I plan on using those guys and their ammunition more later. When you are assaulting a city, you do run out of ammo. Of course, these fucking, yeah, die you bastard. These lazy fuck troops are only going to use one ladder. These guys are like little 4-year-old kids who lose their shoe and they can't find it, and it's literally right on the floor in front of them. We're going to help them out here. Now they use the other ladder here. The old Jarl has to help these little kids out. We'll do a little bit of shooting over here, but I do want to attend to the siege tower and make sure that those guys are having a good push over there. This is a fucking guy pushing our ladders down again, so we're going to have to tend to that ladder again probably. And I don't want my horse to run away on me here. It's nice to be able to run around in battle, and as you saw in the first episode, it's very nice to be able to jump into the city. They're not very good at defending that part, right? They should jam troops at the gate so thick you can't get in, but a lot of times, right, you can just run your horse right into their citadel. Too bad you don't have like handfuls of Greek fire, right? You could just flame all the defenders that are standing there, just rain them down. So the siege tower is getting battered over here. Never mind, it's worse than battered. Oh shit, sorry horse, that would, of course would probably kill a horse if he ran into spikes. This siege tower is fully destroyed. So unfortunately, the first episode we were able to get a siege tower up. I was a little bit worried. If you saw earlier, I was quite worried that them having 2 catapults might be a problem for our siege tower, and indeed, wait, whoops, sorry. Let's keep this guy parked right here. Probably going to need him because, again, now we're going to try to blast our way through the main gate. Now, this is not going to be our main press, but I want to pressure the enemy in other locations, right? If we're going up those ladders and you don't even have the gate open, the enemy will put a much bigger defense. Look at these guys. They're getting stuck, I think. I think reinforcements are trying to... I think these guys are literally in a traffic jam. Half the troops are trying to get to the gate and the other half trying to get to the walls to defend against our ladders. And we have them fish in a barrel here. These guys are stuck. They can't move. Of course, the AI is not smart enough to at least shoot out these murder holes, and they're just getting smoked. This feels a little tiny bit exploit-ish, right? Like if I'm trying to have these episodes be somewhat fair, scientific experiment. But it is what it is. Like, these kind of things happen in Siege, so we'll take advantage of it. The enemy's just getting scorched. Alright, these guys are pounding away at the wall. We're going to check on our other location here. Well, you know, one thing I can do... oh, they got the gate down. Let's pull this 6th in here. One thing I can do is I can pressure this gate and then head to the other one. I still want to make my main pressure to press to the right because they're going to have a lot of defenders here, right? That siege tower going down, all of those defenders that were going to be guarding that siege tower are not there anymore. That means that we'll be able, or that means that they'll have a lot more defenders here. So let's put a square near the gate and see if it draws their attention. Oh shit, it is drawing their attention. All right, back up, boys. Come on. I'm getting stuck. Follow me. You guys are eating too much lately. Let's put this square right outside the gate, and then we will put this archer division spread on the other side of them, right? This is the 4th. Let's get them on the other side of this little wooden fence. And what they can do is they can just shoot the shit out of any troops that are dumb enough to come out of their citadel. I don't think they'll come out. There'll be a little bit of you know, archer jockeying here, right? The archers will be shooting back and forth. But this 6th Corps got some decent looking troops in it. There's some archers there as well, which is suboptimal, but we're just going to let those guys sit right there. Those guys are on ice. Of course, these lazy fucks can't go up the ladder on their own. Let's pull them up the ladder, right? Let's get this, what is this, the 5th and the 8th Corps, I think. Let's get these guys into the courtyard. I don't see any defenders over here. I think they probably got shot to pieces. They're probably heading to the gate, and then the guys that were heading here actually to defend got like jammed up on the own AI troops. And we clearly have some troops already on the walls here, so let's take advantage of this. Right, so they're not following me. This is a problem that happens a lot as well. There are little glitches in sieges, but if you let them drive you crazy, you'll miss all the joys of these games, right? Like, there's so many different joys in the game if you just sort of overlook the warts. Oh shit, sorry, shot one of my companions. We've got a little bit of press of defenders here. It looks like some of the archers are finally getting to the wall here to defend, but they might be too late. We've got forces coming up. It's almost like they recognize it. They're like going back and forth. They're overrun. I mean, if they were smart, they would, oh, that's my guy. They would press all their troops up here as fast as they could and try to stop us on the ladder. And that would really slow down our attacking plans, but the enemy rarely does something that would be considered smart by human standards. So, we're going to get these 2 archer corps. We're going to spread them out on obviously the far side here. We're just basically going to repel the attackers here on the wall because we have to maintain access to these ladders, right? That's our way in right now. The enemy has a massive amount of troops at the gate. Now, we have troops that are pressuring them here. Look at this dipshit just sitting on his ballista. I don't think so. We have troops that are pressuring them at the gate, right? Oh, shit. Shit. We've got archers that are outside the door, right? You remember that was the 4th Corps, I believe, and then the 6th Corps is in a square right outside the gate. I can charge those guys if I need to. I can drag them to me, or I can bring them here, right? So for the short term, I'm just going to leave those guys on ice. It's actually conceivable if we gain a big enough foothold that I will bring those guys up from our access point here, right? If we've got an access into the enemy's siege. Oh shit, I think I fumbled the 6th. Well, we'll see what they do there. But there's no mystery, there's no magic to what I'm doing right now, right? I'm just trying to get as many of these archers into the courtyard as we can. We want distance. We don't want to be close to the enemy. Once we have 50 to 100 guys, we might get closer. But for now, we just want to consolidate our gains here, gain a foothold into this city, and this city's going to be ours, right? We're going to have maybe 100 higher-end archers in here smoking their poor militia. And you can see I need a little archery practice. Going back and forth between javelins and archers is giving me a hard time. It's not easy. So these divisions are getting kind of attacked and mauled outside. I don't know if that's because the enemy got anxious or if because I finger-fucked a charge there. But we'll rescue these guys. We'll pull them around over here to us and get them through our access, through where we already have access, right? When you have archers, basically, you can think of it like a first-person shooter game. If you've got cover fire, it's a lot more easy for you to advance because other people are basically keeping the enemy down. They're keeping their head down, so to speak, to use a common military tactic. I do hear a lot of carnage down there. They're probably being chased. We're going to spread them out and get them all the way over here so that we can actually shoot down on the attackers. I can't pick up any rocks here. Oh yeah, they're being attacked by a lot of infantry. Well, these guys are highly vulnerable. Let's spread archers out. Let's put these guys in different locations, and the crossfire should be able to mop up these attackers. They don't have many archers out here. They're kind of half retreating and half zerging the 4th Corps. We like that, right? These guys running the other way obviously makes them vulnerable. and it means we're going to be able to get all these archers up to where we are, or at least as many that survive. They're being zerged pretty hard, but it does look like it's militia. Pardon me. All right, so we'll get a few more units up here, but at this stage, we're ready to start getting offensive. The enemy, frankly, is in a sorry state. The defenses in this castle have been butchered about as bad as the AI can. I talk about that in other episodes, the siege guide. Unfortunately, the AI really is sort of random on their siege defenses. What I mean by that is that there are some sieges that are brutally hard. I remember like throwing my mouse and being frustrated because the AI would just butcher me and do really good siege defense, make it almost impossible to get inside a city. And then they will have a siege defense like this, where especially if you have good tactics, you completely short circuit the AI and it has no idea what to do. These archers are all piled up inside this gatehouse and they are literally fish in a barrel. I don't have to aim. I just shoot as fast as I can. I can't even see in there, but it's killing guys every single shot, right? Like as soon as I can release the arrow, someone else is killed. You just keep drawing here with this noble longbow, and I just killed like their whole division. All right, I didn't aim. I just shot as fast as I could. We can smash the rest of them with our hammer here. And all of these guys are just crushed. So now at this stage, we've got to have like 100 archers down in the courtyard, almost 100 archers. Let's get some on the walls, right? Let's get some crossfire. These guys will be able to shoot at different angles. But you can already tell, based on how bad the AI has defended and the fact that we have a major purchase with high-end archers, this siege defense is already over. The bodies of the enemy are already piled up. Of course, this is a lot of these guys were dead and killed in the massacre where they were traffic jammed. So the AI really kind of has bungled this one, and admittedly, that's why these tests are not empirical. You'd have to run like 100 of them or 1,000 of them or something to have like a for sure scorecard here. But we're also not being that serious, right? We're playing a game. Hopefully you guys aren't like, well, this is an invalid test. I refuse to accept your hypothesis. Obviously we are just fucking around here. I'm trying to give you guys some strategic edges, whether you're playing other players or just playing against the AI. We're going to give you the tools you need to dominate. And needless to say here, when you're playing an artificial imbecility AI like this, you've got all the tools you need to dominate. Our archers are now completely lighting them up. And I'm going to try to sneak by an archer division here to get flanking fire. This is probably a little too cute. Sometimes you outthink yourself, right? I could just sit here with arrows and rain arrows until they're pretty much dead. But we'll try to sneak an archer division by here. But yeah, I thought that might happen. So the enemy's approaching us. We're just going to have to fly into combat here. I do have the 6th following me as well, so we've got reinforcements coming. Let's get these guys to charge and shield wall. But I just looked up at the power bar, and this fucking siege is over. Admittedly, the AI definitely butchered this siege, although they're trying to take me out here at the end. But this was really a massacre. And I expected this. I'm going to try not to prognosticate or give you my prediction before this, so there's a tiny bit of suspense, but I was almost certain that the archers would dominate this, right? We can just basically kick the enemy over and over again and let our guys kill them. Archers are made for siege assault and siege defense, right? This is practically why archers were invented in the first place, right? Ugg was standing up in a rock area and a bunch of the enemy cavemen were attacking him. And he said, hey, if only I had a bunch of guys who threw rocks really well. And then the next thing you know, they're like, what if I could put this string on a stick and pull it back? I could generate like a slingshot. The whole idea of archers is that they're designed for defensible areas. Don't have a seizure. I just sped it up at the RTS mode because you don't need to watch me play the rest of this at the slow speed. But the point is I sort of predicted in my head that the archers would do better in this challenge, and it sure looks like they have outperformed compared to the skirmishers. Now we'll just finish this last section up, but I already saw the number. It looked like it's over 400, which means that the archers win this round. They win round 4. Somewhat predictable, right? Archers win siege assault. The next episode, probably in the next week or so, will be siege. I'm just going to sit on my throne again. You motherfuckers. Changed my mind. All right, we're going to shoot in fast motion here. I've got the RTS mode going, so we might as well talk fast. That way it makes sense, right? We're going to shoot as fast as we can here, and we're going to talk as fast as we can here. The next episode is going to be siege defense. We're going to defend a castle with both the skirmisher division and the archer division and see if the results are different. Now, I won't say it. I was going to say something, and I'm not going to say it. So, look forward to that episode. I will slow down this fast speech here as we conclude this episode. But round 4 goes to the archers, which again makes it 2-2, right? If you guys are keeping score at home, and I don't know why you would, at this stage, basically out of the 4 episodes we've had so far, Skirmishers did better in 2 of the episodes, and archers did better in the other 2. So it's a dead heat, right? So we'll have, I've got kind of 3 battlefields predicted for the next and final 3 episodes. We are going to do best of 7 in this series. And what I'd like to do, maybe not necessarily in this order, is we're going to do a siege defense, right? You guys can probably guess who's going to win that. We shall see. But we will do a siege defense of a castle. We will fight horse archers in the open field. And you guys can also guess who's going to win that. Finally, we are going to do a large heavy cavalry / elite enemy force in the open field. And we will see who wins, an army of skirmishers or an army of archers. Of course, I'd love to hear your guys' predictions ahead of time. I'm not going to give you my predictions, but if you want to prognosticate in the comments, feel free to do so. If you want to write, "Quit talking so fast, less caffeine, you stupid asshole," in the comments, I'm okay with that as well. I'm okay with all kinds of feedback, fellas. Don't feed the trolls. There aren't very many, but we don't need them to proliferate or get any attention. I appreciate you, fellas. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from the channel. Please hit like. I really appreciate that. And with all that said, fellas, I will see you guys next time.